I guess we'll start off with the reason you probably clicked on the video, and that is a year ago to the day, I weighed 196.6 pounds. I was a big boy throughout most of my adult life. I've been a relatively burly lad, a lot of gym going, a lot of exercise, a lot of weights, a little bit of cardio, more cardio over the recent history of my life, but before that it was generally just weights. There was a period where I lost a lot of weight very quickly for, mental mess up reasons. There was a lot of external factors that led to that, and I ended up losing when I was 19, 20 years old, about 5 stone in the space of 3 months. This time round, I feel like I lost the weight I did in a much healthier way, over a longer period of time, and in a more sustainable way. So, over the last year, I have lost 30 pounds. Right now, I'm about 166.6, which is convenient. Lovely how the numbers line up like that. 196, 166. It also leads to 666 at the end of the, after the 1, which is not good because that's the devil's number. Well, some people argue that it's not the devil's number. Beside the point. The point is, all right, if I can do it, you can do it. And I'll tell you exactly why that's the case. The case in point is that I was someone who used to exercise a lot. Before the pandemic, I was going 6 days a week minimum to the gym. Like, I was a gym nut for about 18 months. I was going crazy. I was about 205 pounds. I dropped about 20 pounds by the time the pandemic started, doing a lot of cardio at that point, doing a lot of weights, body weights, and I ended up dropping 20 pounds to about 185, but I felt like the fittest version of myself in my entire life. I could run 2K in about 7 minutes, which was really, really quick considering at the time I started going to the gym, 2K would take me about 15. So it's a very, very big shift in the space of a year or 18 months, right? But from that point, when the pandemic started, shit went down. You had to try and keep to your own routines, but then it never really happened. So after the first few months of using the bike and doing bodyweight exercises, kind of had my first injury, which was my foot. Didn't really help me, then didn't do anything until the end of 2020, where I looked at myself and said, hey, boy, maybe you need to do some shenanigans because you're a bit out of shape. So I started at the beginning of 2021 doing pull-ups, installed a pull-up bar, doing push-ups, sit-ups, skipping, running, doing all those things. And I ended up messing myself up because for the first time in my life, I understood what the term strength and conditioning meant, right? I was strong enough to do the pull-ups, the chin-ups, the push-ups, but I wasn't conditioned enough. And I found this out at a later date. And because of that, it led me to getting really, really bad tendonitis in both of my arms, on both sides of my forearm, right? So I had tendonitis on the front and tendonitis on the back. I had golfer's elbow and tennis elbow on both sides of both arms. I mean, my doctor looked at me like I was a pleb, even though he knows I'm a little bit of a pleb, but not that much of a pleb, but I'm a bit stupid, but not that stupid. He was a bit shocked I was that stupid, right? He was, to be fair. And I'm laughing about this now because it's nowhere near as bad as it was, but I'm telling you, it was one of the most harrowing experiences of my life, not being able to lift anything, even though you knew you had the strength to do it. It was a very, very weird mental struggle, that one. The thing was, it did take 4 or 5 months for them to heal to a decent degree, but by the time they'd healed partially, I ended up tearing up my ankle in the garden playing with the dog, and it took me about 6 months to recover from that to a good degree. I couldn't walk for 3-4 months at all. Probably one of the worst experiences in my entire life. Looking at yourself and saying, I don't know if I'm going to be able to walk again. And it's obviously just a short-term thing, which I'm very thankful for that. But in that moment, all these things run through your head where I don't know if I can do this. How long is this going to take to recover from? And it ended up taking, 8 months, and I'm still in this position now where I'm still rehabbing from it, doing the stretches. Hopefully in the next 1 or 2 months, I will be able to start fully exercising on my ankle again. But I remember those first few months literally crawling about the house and hopping about because I couldn't use my arms with crutches because I had the arm problems. This sounds like a problem type video. I'm a problem, all right? So I ended up having to crawl and hop for 3 months, and then I could start putting weight on it. And after about 6 months in October, November time, I started driving finally again. And I'm really, really fortunate that I have been able to start walking again. And it's a lot of freedom that you didn't realize you had. You don't know how good it is until it's gone. But when that did happen, I had to look at myself and say, you're in awful shape. You are in a really bad place physically, mentally, emotionally, everything. So you need to fix this one way or another. You can continue doing what you're doing, and at that point I was probably about 192 come May time or April 2021. So in my head it was pretty binary. Continue doing what you're doing and potentially balloon up to 210, 215 pounds and be in a really bad state by the time you can actually start working out, and be working out at 215, which would be an absolute hellhole of a place to get out of. Or you can try and lose 10, 12 pounds to get down to 180 and be in a better position for when you do eventually start exercising. And I said, you know what? I know what it's like to exercise at 205 pounds when you're a bit overweight, when you have some muscle, but you definitely have a lot of weight to lose. And I said, I don't want to do that again. So I started doing two things as well as keeping with the one thing I had been keeping to throughout the whole of the pandemic and for the last 5 years of my life. Number one, this is one of the best things you can do if you want to lose weight. Intermittent fast. It will save you more than you know it will. The stuff I've read in it over the last 5-6 years has been eye-opening. But on top of that, it really does put this impetus on personal responsibility and self-discipline, making sure I'm not eating if it's out of my hours of eating. And currently I do about a 19-hour fast. That seems extreme to some people, but once you start on the path to getting there, it really does become easier every single day. The first 2-3 weeks is hard when you initially start doing a 16-hour fast or 15-hour fast. But once you start doing that, you could very easily do a 20-hour fast, no problem. I occasionally do a 40-hour fast because 24-hour fasts don't exactly work because of the time I eat. So a 24-hour fast for me turns into a 40-hour fast. And I do them once in a while and they're absolutely fine as well, just to detox your body and clean yourself out. But I do think the idea of an intermittent fast helps you consume less in general because you feel full once you've eaten. It doesn't mean you should be eating such small amounts of food. It just means you eat within your time window and you do not eat at all outside of it. My time right now is probably between 10 and 2 or 11 and 3 in the morning because I don't sleep till about 4, so that works for me. I don't like eating during the day. I don't drink till about 7 in the evening, maybe later, because I don't like having stuff in my body. Even when I exercised a lot, I would generally exercise fasted as well. I didn't like having stuff sloshing about inside me as I was running about or doing some weights. Maybe doing some weights you can get away with eating, but I don't think doing any type of cardio or body weight is a good idea when you mix it with a full-fledged meal that you've had during that day. So number one was indeed intermittent fasting. Number two is portion control. You need to control and restrain yourself a little bit, okay? You might want to have 2 donuts or 3 donuts, all right? There are 2 things in my life that do me in like nothing else. Pepsi and donuts. If you could get a Pepsi-filled donut with a Pepsi cream, I don't know. I've been thinking about this maybe one day. Maybe I'll create it. But it is really about portion control. Have 1 donut every few days as opposed to having 2 donuts in a day. It's not really rocket science there. Just eat better food as well. That's number 3. Eat relatively healthier. I'm not saying I'm the healthiest person on the planet. That would be ridiculous. In fact, to be honest, I'm relatively unfit. Scrap that. I am very unfit right now because I've done this, and this is the alarm bells here. This is the spoiler alert. If you didn't clock it from what I said before, I have done this. I have lost 30 pounds in a year without doing any exercise at all. It's been through those 3 things: eating relatively healthier, portion control, and intermittent fasting. If you do those things, you will lose weight. You can do it. I believe in you. I would have said this is crazy. I've always been someone to say, if you exercise, I don't care what I put in my body because I'm doing the work anyway. I'm putting in the blood, sweat, and tears. The food is the food. It doesn't matter. I'll eat what I want. I've come to realize as I've got older, well, you can't really do that because your body just goes no. Your body says, hey, you're not 18 anymore. You can't do that. You're not 22 anymore. You can't do that. Now, I can't do that. How wonderful. And the truth is, I didn't aim to lose 30 pounds. I wanted to lose 10, 12. But once it just started coming off, it was like a machine that kept going. Your body is a machine at the end of the day. And once you're in a fat burning mode, you will just do it. It's just how it goes. But you need to get to that point first, which means you need to do those things. Eat better, eat smaller portions, and intermittent fast. You don't need to take my advice. As I said at the beginning, I am not a doctor. But if you look online, these 3 things do generally help most people. I am definitely not any fitter than I was. If I did a VO2 max out right now, I'm sure that any PT would look at me and say, how are you in such bad shape? But, you know, I've had injuries, all right? Not to blame other things. I'm blaming myself. But at the same time, I did have some pretty bad injuries which caused this situation to happen in the first place, along with bad decision making prior to the injuries happening. So yeah, I am not fit. I would argue that I am healthier than I was, because if you lose 20 or 30 pounds, inevitably in general, you're gonna be healthier than you were before, but it's just part of a journey, the journey of life. And if this can help anyone, one person, two people, three people, then it's been worth doing. I know sometimes YouTubers put on a face or a facade. I thought I'd just speak a bit more openly and honestly, because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about on the channel, but I choose not to for one reason or another. Some people say to me, you know, why aren't you this person all the time? And I say, well, the person I am online is really just 110% of me normally. You know, a lot of people who are YouTubers, influencers, social media creators, they just create entirely different personas online to who they are in real life, and I don't think that is sustainable at all, especially if you make a video every single day like we do on this channel. And people do question it, saying, how do you just turn that on? And I'm saying, if I am the most confident version of myself 5% of my life, I just put that version of myself on camera, and that's why all the videos are like that. It's just weird how it works, but I'm not being a false version. I'm just being the maxed out version of me. And for me, that works. For some people, they need to create whole new people, entirely different personas and characters. But I think that would be way too much work, way too much upkeep, and would probably destroy you mentally. And I don't have time for that. I've got too much shit going on. So yeah, I hope this helped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. 5 people? 5 people? That would be great. That would be great. But just know, all right, you can do it. If I can do it, and I'm an idiot, you can do it. Because I believe you're smarter than me. Maybe not smarter than me. You're watching this, so you can't be that smart. But, point being, if you want to lose weight, you can do it. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It might take 4 months, 5 months, a year, 2 years. But you can make the active change in your life, and no one else is going to do it. And some people will say, well, I can't afford a personal trainer. I can't do these things. Even a person who can afford a personal trainer is actively making a choice to go and get a PT to help themselves. They're getting that person to make sure they do what they need to do. It's your choice. If you don't have the money for a PT, I don't. I mean, maybe I do, but I don't want to spend the money on a PT. Then you have to do it on your own. You have to start small, build up, build up, build up, and eventually you will feel better. I can guarantee you, I feel so much healthier, happier, mentally stable than I was a year ago. Yes, the injuries played a big part in my mental mess up, as I would call it, but you can make the change. That's the thing that I want people to take out of this. You can do it. No one else can do it for you. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, I'm gonna do it. This is gonna be cringe. If you didn't, this motherfucker is gonna come after you. You don't want that. No, that was so unbelievably cringe. Especially, maybe it's more cringe because I'm smaller. Maybe it's less cringe because I'm smaller. Just subscribe, all right? I have no muscle. I am weak, and I know it. But at least I'm healthier. Just subscribe anyway. Now, I've been Narendra the Comic. You've been Grant. We'll see you next time. That's tomorrow. If you don't know, make a video every single day. Been doing it every day for over 1,000 days now. We ain't stopping till we get to 10,000 subscribers. So do subscribe. Pop back again tomorrow for some more quality, shitty content. Because we're hashtag never not here. Just how it goes. Also bring the Pakwas. Pakwas means nonsense in Punjabi. We also bring that. Bring a lot. Bring a little. Do a lot. Do a little. But we do indeed bring the quality, shitty content on a daily basis. So see you tomorrow. More of the same, slightly different, but essentially the very same. Once more, see you then. Skadoosh.